B is for Bethlehem. I'm not sure why, but O Little Town of Bethlehem is probably my favourite Christmas hymn. It could be the melody. It could be the poetry of Philip Brooks. It could simply be because of the crush a 9-year-old kid had on the soloist who sang it in church one Christmas. But it is special to me. And it must be popular with countless others because there is a mystique about Bethlehem among believers. Part of it is the hymn, but it's also the picture we have in our mind of Bethlehem, that picture that's imprinted on our brains by the drawings of Bethlehem on Christmas cards, a gentle, snow-covered village with a church in the background, a church that seems to resemble those country churches seen in shows and movies set in England. This magical Bethlehem attracts us, calls to us with its beauty, its peace, its sense of the eternal. But the Bethlehem where Jesus was born was probably not very beautiful, at the time more like a dusty backwater village, and it probably wasn't very timeless, but seemingly caught in an endless cycle of poverty and despair. Seeing that it was controlled by the occupation army of Imperial Rome and under the thumb of Herod, a king simply because he was willing to collaborate with the invaders, it probably wasn't very peaceful. When Mary and Joseph arrived there, it was even more crowded, more dirty, more tightly controlled because of the census, more likely a tax scheme imposed by the Emperor Tiberius. No, I don't think we would want to see the Bethlehem of those days, the true Bethlehem, on any of the cards coming to us in this season. Yet there in Bethlehem, in the midst of this overwhelming noise, into the crushing crowds, into the unmatched power of Rome, God became one of us. One of us like the couple travelling with a caravan of others just like them. One of us like the working class couple trying to make ends meet. One of us like the family who found every door slammed in their faces and have to sleep rough in the whatever shelter they can find. One of us in that baby rich in grace, born into poverty, the hope of the world surrounded by the despair of family, neighbours and families. An outsider welcomed by those who were considered to be those no decent person would want to invite into their home. One of us in that Bethlehem, which was not lying very still. The sad truth is that the Bethlehem of today is much the same as it was back then. Those who have never been, and those who have gone but only seen the sanitised, tourist-approved Bethlehem, cannot begin to understand that this town is still controlled by an occupying force that has built a 24-foot-high concrete separation wall through its streets. We do not realise that the fears of all the years, centuries now, still wander through the lives and homes of folks who live there. Some in 3 refugee settlements that date back 70 years. We're not aware of or simply choose to ignore the lives which Palestinian Christians, their Muslim neighbours and Jewish Israeli peacemakers are forced to endure. But it's not just there, but all the Bethlehems around us. Those communities controlled by poverty's unmatched power. The people governed by those who collaborate with the powerful and the wealthy. The places where the fearful long to build walls, not welcome stations. The communities of faith where the progressive imply that conservatives are not welcome, and the evangelicals who treat liberals with disdain. The streets that remain iced over for days because they're not in the neighbourhoods where movers and shakers live. The homes where families pray every night that gunfire will not break their windows and their children will survive another day. And in all these places, God is one of us. One of us walking the streets to make sure neighbours are safe, have enough food, or receive assistance with rent or heat. One of us standing at the bus stop on a cold morning or helping kids get across the street safely to school. One of us pestering or nudging, urging those in power to pay more attention to the vulnerable than to their benefactors. One of us opening church doors to those who need a listening ear. Help in learning new ways, assistance on how to cut through red tape. One of us, in and through us, so we might discover God, who is in all those around us. Amen.